Hey guys, it's Ruck. Welcome back to the table. Got a speed duel. It's a match analysis we have going on today. I was playing a match in the Speed Duel League's win-a-box. What are we at, number 7? 7 or 6 or 7? And I was playing against XYZ Unions. And this match went exactly how most Union matches go. I'm playing the Dark Moth in this match, but I wanted to just kind of take it piece by piece, step by step, and kind of analyze and identify some of the things that we see consistently with a deck like this when playing against it. Let me actually pause, and also identify some mistakes that I certainly made in this match, and other things that you can just look out for, like trends to look for. Where if you see a setup, like I can explain this one for example, you kind of know what's going on. So you can see this is the Union deck we're playing against, and you can see they had Union Hanger in the opening hand. The person I was playing against asked that I did not disclose who this was. So we got opening hand Union Hanger. This is really nasty because now we're going to see most likely every time the Y Dragon head with the Z metal tank equipped to it, because you can use the equip with Union Hanger. So Y Dragon head and Z metal tank is it's a 2100 attack monster, and Z metal tank can go away if Y Dragon head were to be destroyed. It protects Y Dragon head. So this is very good early setup here. We're also seeing a Foolish Burial, and we can kind of go into a little bit of the match. So we're seeing a lot of the hand to be used right away. Foolish Burial and X-Head Cannon. We got Z Metal Tank and Y Dragon Head already banishing to get the YZ Tank Dragon as part of the Union combination. So, in this case, notice how they have one card left in their hand, and they got the YZ Tank Dragon. YZ Tank Dragon is you can ditch a card to target a face-down monster I control and destroy it. Why would they make that play if I do not have any set monsters on the field? They don't know what deck I'm running. They have no idea what I could possibly be running. The reason is the back row. So to have a Union deck ditch all of their cards like this so quickly, that back row is a Union scramble, most likely. This is where a Night Beam or something like that would totally take care of that, although Union Scrambled still has an effect in the graveyard. So it's really kind of protected against things like that. And what I later learned is that it's even protected against Jinzo, because it's not something that's happening on the field, the moving of Union Scramble from graveyard to banish for its secondary effect, similar to like Haunted Shrine. So you see a play set up like this, you know that that's Union Scramble, which is they're taking the banished and they're putting him back on the field, and they're going to be able to Union combination for something else the next turn. So that was a pretty heavy first turn for my opponent. And now you see I top decked the Parasite, which is pretty good for me. So Book of Moon, Sphere, Allure of Darkness, Zoma, Parasite. We got an Allure of Darkness here, and we can banish the Sphere. It doesn't look like he's being too aggressive in terms of attack. So we're going to Allure of Darkness here. We got a Breaker and a Moth. Oh, that Moth is great. We're going to banish the Sphere. Next step is going to be to Parasite the YZ Tank Dragon. Because I'm pretty sure that that's Union Scramble, I know that most likely they aren't going to dust this. If they did, I still have the Moth in my hand, which is great. But this is a great scenario for Moth, because I haven't even normal summoned yet. So you can see I'm going to have Breaker here. But you see I'm activating the Cocoon here, all right? We're going to Tribute, and we're going to ditch the YZ Tank Dragon, all right, with the Tribute with Parasite, to get the perfectly ultimate Great Moth from my deck, and then, of course, there's the one coming from the hand. So this is a really great basic Dark Moth play. Usually this is this is where the game ends for your opponent. Most of the time, sometimes, they have traps like Zoma or some other things going on, but I got the 2 Moths out there, and I haven't even normal summoned yet. So I also did shuffle the Parasite Paranoid back into the deck to get the card draw. So I've totally exhausted my Cocoon skill. I have Breaker the Magical Warrior, comes out with 1 counter. I remove the counter. Yeah, and he's going to chain that Union Scramble. So I'm trying to destroy the Union Scramble face down. He's going to chain it to get the banish here. So, breakdown there. A little bit of a pause. Was that the right target? I think that he was going to get the Union Scramble out anyway. Like, we set up well for it. It's a chainable. This wasn't a Night Beam. This was Breaker popping something. Would it have made more sense to pop the Union Hanger in this case? Because we knew that Union Scramble was going to be happening. And as you can see, what he's going to do now is he's going to activate the Union Hanger ability to get a card right out of the deck. There's the Z Metal Tank back on the Y Dragon head. I do have the Book of Moon and a Zoma. Zoma isn't really going to help me now. I got full monster slots. I do have a lot of attack power here, but interesting. Not sure what the right call was. If he was going to already use Union Scramble, and that's up to 3 monsters, so it wasn't total value. I do have the Book of Moon here that I use just to get rid of that Z Metal Tank. Flipping the Y Dragon head into face down defense mode, trying to keep the momentum of the cards, because he only has 1 left in his hand, and I have such an intense field. So I'm going with Breaker for Z Metal Tank, and then perfectly ultimate Grey Moth for Y Dragon head, and then the second Moth for 3,500 to leave him at 500. So that was devastating. Any other deck, this would be pretty much it. You know, it drops him all the way down to 500. Looks like the odds are overwhelmingly in my favor. Watch what happens next. We have Union combination, and we are going X, Y, and Z. He has 2 cards in his hand, and XYZ's effect is you can drop a card from hand to the graveyard in order to pop something on the field. He also still has Union Scramble in the graveyard, and it has a secondary effect where you can banish it to get a Union monster from graveyard to hand. So he's going to drop Y Dragon Tank for 1 Moth. He's dropping the other card in his hand, which is a Z or Y Dragon Head Z Metal Tank. There goes both Moths. And now he's activating Union Scramble's effect in the graveyard to get the X Head Cannon to his hand, and then using, I'm pretty sure he's going to use XYZ's effect again here. Yes. He's going to go ahead and drop X Head Cannon to remove my breaker. So that devastating Dark Moth board has been absolutely wiped out with seemingly no resources in my opponent's hand. That is the power of Union combination. And getting the XYZ Dragon Cannon out, using that Union Scramble in order to get cards back into the hand to use as fodder to keep popping your stuff. Something as huge as the perfectly ultimate Grave Moth to just be destroyed by a card drop from the grave, from the hand to the grave. That's pretty devastating. So we're looking at an XYZ Dragon Cannon, 2,600 defense. I popped the Zoma just to get a monster out, and I think I set, what was that, a Book of Moon? And I have Sphere in my hand. He's not going to attack me yet. So it's not really going to, there's really nothing you can do here. So he has essentially completely destroyed all of my resources with the XYZ Dragon Cannon and that versatility and being able to take from Banish and take from Grave and put back to hand and dropping to hand. He still has Union Hanger out too. So there's really not much I can do here. He just got another card in his hand, which he's going to use a Drop of the Grave probably to get rid of my Zoma. And there's that. Yep, because if he were to beat over Zoma, he would lose. So Zoma is a threat to him. He doesn't want that. And now here's what's going to happen next. Let's see if we can fast forward here. We got Union combination for another 3. There's another. Let me pause there. A lot just happened there. We just saw another 3 banish. Yeah, how are there more Unions in his grave? He dropped them from his hand to pop my stuff. So there's another XYZ Dragon Cannon on the field. And now I have a Zoma set, Book of Moon set, and I set my Sphere Kribo as a bluff. He's not ready to attack me. Drop that and got rid of Sphere. So he's just playing with so many resources all of a sudden. And now it's going into my turn. I have a Lure of Darkness. Last-ditch effort. Do I draw a Dark Monster? I don't. I draw a Parasite and a Night Beam. I got to drop those to grave because I don't draw a Dark Monster. So it leaves me with a Book of Moon and a Zoma on the field. And here's another Union Scramble to get, what is it? We're getting Y Dragon Head to the hand. And he's got 2 cards in hand. XYZ Dragon Cannon. Drop, drop. Cards are gone. So there goes my Zoma. There goes my Book of Moon. Chain Book of Moon, whatever, on one of his XYZ Dragon Cannons. Of course, he can still flip summon at this turn. So now I'm looking at 2 2,800 XYZ Dragon Cannons in my face for game. So that's pretty insane. I mean, Dark Moth is not the best deck in this format. It's almost roguish. I get a lot of hate because it was so like overly broken before Battle City Box. But just to see, I mean, just to see that get completely unraveled from Union combination is crazy. It's what makes this, I want to drive home the fact that that's what makes this XYZ Dragon Cannon, the Union, XYZ Unions, such a great deck right now, because it can take a seemingly impossible situation of the double Moth and a monster, and you got back row. You're working with all sorts of things. You know, people consider it's lucky to get the Moth in hand while you're also getting the Moth out of the deck, and just to see that completely go away is insane. And he took that 3,500 attack. He took that 3,500 attack right to the face. Left him at 500. That was probably, what, turn 2, 3? And he did not let me attack one other time. So that was game 1. Going into siding. Let's see. With this deck, I definitely have Lost Wind in the side. So I sided Lost Wind here against the Unions, because Lost Wind, anything special summoning negates the effects and halves their attack, which is good. So he's going first. I chose to go second here. I got a pretty decent hand for Allure of Darkness, and we're seeing Union Hanger right away. There's the Y Dragon Head. So now we're probably going to see that normal summon, and then Union Hanger's effect allows it to get Z Metal Tank right from the deck and equip it. So there's your monster right there, and if he does have the Union Scramble, we may see, okay, so he had to think there. I think I blocked the chat. Sorry, guys, he didn't want to show his name. But he said thinking, and of course it's to get the YZ Tank Dragon here, which is the same thing. Same setup as the last time. Face down, monster your opponent controls, but he's got the Union Scramble here, so he's setting up big. I just top decked the Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth, so we're looking at another double Moth play. I go for the Parasite. He's got a Dust Tornado this time, a Dust Tornado, so I do get the Moth from my hand, which was lucky. I mean, if I didn't top deck that, there would have been no value there, but I do have the Cocoon to at least get the shuffle effect to get Parasite Paranoid back into the deck, and I'm going to go ahead and do a little twice shuffle there, and Allure of Darkness again. So we have Sphere Kuriboh and Dekoichi. First Allure of Darkness is going to get us Jinzo and a Lost Wind. There's a little drawn into a little bit of the side. I think we could banish Sphere Kuriboh because he's really not trying to attack us until the very end. And we're going for broke. Double Allure of Darkness. Can we do it? We have the Jinzo, which is a main deck card here. And Jinzo would actually be pretty good against some of the traps that he's running. But of course we have Dekoichi and Jinzo to look at if we want to ditch. And you know, in what happens next here, I think that Jinzo is enough of a threat with cards like Union Scramble, because Union Scramble was what brought him all of his resources. I think that Jinzo was enough of a threat here to actually tribute the Moth for Jinzo. This will also beat over the YZ Tank Dragon, and I'm pretty sure, because he blew his whole hand like he did, that last back row, because he already used the Dust on the Parasite, and that last back row is the Union Scramble. So with Jinzo on the field, he can't activate Union Scramble. So I'm pretty sure that I can clear over this YZ Tank Dragon and leave him with just one card in hand and give me a little bit of an advantage here as I try and build some life point damage here. I also have the second Parasite. Oh, that's right. I activated this in the main phase of this turn. So that was my mistake. I thought that I had activated in the end phase. So you can only do it once per turn. Only do it once per turn. Plowing right ahead here. That would have been a little too broken. Going ahead and set my Lost Wind, my Book of Moon, and we're going to battle. What we were really looking for is we're looking for Jinzo over YZ Tank Dragon. And so that's going to go off without a hitch, assuming that back row is the Union Scramble. My opponent is drawing, and we're seeing a Union Hanger over a Union Hanger, and the reason why he's doing that is because he gets the search. He gets the search when he does that. So he's getting the Y Dragon Head. He's going to play the Y Dragon Head most likely to get the Z-Metal Tank. He's getting that set up again. You can also activate Union Combination, which is the skill, once per turn. So we're probably going to see another purple monster out here. We got a Y Dragon Head Z-Metal Tank. Ooh, we have an X Head Cannon too, which means we're going for the XYZ, the big boy, but no cards in hand. So unfortunately, we can't just pop Jinzo, but we are going to try and beat over it. And I have a response there with the Book of Moon. 2600 defense, though, so Jinzo still won't be able to beat over that. And because I flipped it into defense mode, I can't Parasite it, unfortunately. I had to save my Jinzo, but I can't Parasite it now because it's a set monster. So I just top deck Breaker the Magical Warrior. And here's a play where I'm questioning. I'm not sure if this was the right call. I'm going to play Breaker the Magical Warrior. It comes with a counter. And I blow the counter on Union. I knew it was Union Scramble. I think I should have used it on Union Hanger, if at all. Maybe I didn't even need to use it. But the fact that Union Scramble, this now opens up an opportunity for him to do the banish effect to get a card back to hand. And I knew, I mean, it could have been a Book of Moon. He could have been playing like a real long game. It could have been something like that. So that was my initial reasoning in the moment. I was like, if this is Book of Moon, I got to get rid of this. And you might chain it and sure, whatever. But I knew with that first setup, and we saw it the last game, I knew that it should have been the Union Scramble. And so the fact that I chose that and made that decision was questionable because we're not sure. Get out of here. It was questionable because now he can use Union Scramble's effect to banish it to get the card back to hand, which with XYZ Dragon Cannon is pretty devastating. So let's keep going here. I'm going to Parasite my own Breaker because I really want to see a Moth. So I will do that. And, well, it's good because we're looking at no resources in my opponent's hand. So there is no hand trap to stop this Moth to beat over 2600 defense XYZ Dragon Cannon. So I was willing to sacrifice Breaker for the Moth, no problem, and that completely burns out my skill again. So luckily I was able to burn my skill completely both games so far, and we got the Moth beating over XYZ, and we have 2400 to the face with Jinzo, which is pretty good. And Jinzo's effect still out there where he can't activate traps, so I'm in a good place. I have the Lost Wind set, which, you know, I can't activate myself with Jinzo out, but if he were to get rid of Jinzo somehow, it could be pretty good against a special summon monster, which is, he's been doing it every turn with Union Combination. He has to set this card, and he does get the Union Scramble banish. What is he getting with that? Here we go. Z-Metal Tank. Z-Metal Tank with Union Scramble, and he's scared. So he's got, he has limited resources, so he's setting that defensively. Going to the next play, top deck Sphere Creepo, not going to help me, but I don't think we're going to need it. I think we're going to be able to go right in. Jinzo over the set monster here, and Moth for the win. We have Book of Moon. Book of Moon. So that plays around Jinzo. That was the play that would have been pretty bad had I not used Breaker's effect to pop what ended up being the Union Scramble. Luckily, through those questionable plays, we were able to get this one. And Jinzo is the reason. Coming off of that, I do have another Jinzo in my side deck. I think actually in this version of the deck, I have a Dark Ruler Hadez to beat over like Kaiser Glider and Grand Margan, those things. And then I have a Jinzo. And I think I sided out the Dark Ruler for another Jinzo. So I have two Jinzos here because you saw how kind of off his game he was thrown when I tributed for Jinzo. And even though I still gave him the Union Scramble resource in the graveyard, I was still able to overcome that, luckily, with just the power of the Moth, the natural power of the Moth. So now we're going to Game 3, and we see a Parasite Sphere and a Lure of Darkness, 2 Lure of Darkness. That's not bad. So we're going to banish the Sphere here because he's just not aggressive until the very end. I think I sided out a Sphere or two. I run 3 Spheres typically, but I think I sided one out as well. Maybe for another Night Beam, because Night Beam would be pretty good. Because he doesn't run Zoma or anything. He can't, like, chain around stuff. Not necessarily. He's usually only setting 1 card at a time. We got another Allure of Darkness, and now we can banish either Breaker or Koichi. I'm going to banish Breaker because I want some card draw. So I set Koichi. Now, the thing about setting Koichi is I run the risk, and I set the Book of Moon too. I run the risk of the, the XYZ Tank Dragon, whatever the one he gets out in the beginning, is always the one where you drop a card to the graveyard to pop a set monster, and he's never been able to effectively use that yet. And if that's the card he's always going to get through, and of course, here's Union Hanger in his hand. So we're going to see Y Dragon Cannon and Z Metal, Y Dragon Head. Oh my god, I swear I'll get these right sometime. Y Dragon Head, Z Metal Tank, banish the thing that destroys my set monster, which is really unfortunate. So there's the Z Metal Tank from deck. There's the double banish Union combination. We're going into, what is it called? It's YZ Tank Dragon. And he's actually going to be able to utilize the effect. Dishes a card to the graveyard, and of course it's going to be another Y Dragon because it just fuels his graveyard for Union combination plays. So it's just a win for this deck. Gets rid of my Koichi so I get no card draw. Go into battle phase. Yeah, sure, let's swing him for 2100 right off the bat. And I will take it. I want to hold on to my Book of Moon. I don't want it, I don't want to get rid of it just yet. Now, I do have the Parasite, but looking at 2 back row, he may have a Dust Tornado. I'm sure he sided more magic removal in to combat the Parasite. So it's pretty risky. And I didn't Parasite in the end phase here because I want to Night Beam something. So let's Night Beam that corner card. And he's thinking, does he want to be able to try and chain around it? Night Beam is a card that you don't see run too often anymore. And in terms of magic removal, I mean, you got Breaker the Magical Warrior, which is pretty great in itself. But Night Beam sometimes catches people off guard. Of course, he's able to chain Union Scramble here to get his Y Dragon Head and Z Metal Tank out, which activates Union Hanger. It all goes in tandem. And now this is how you get around Night Beam, right? You activate a card that isn't the target of Night Beam, and now it allows you to actually activate the second card because it kind of breaks the chain. It's like not in order. I don't know. Somebody smarter than me will explain it. But it was another Union Scramble, so he was Union Scramble heavy. So it didn't actually work out that way, but he did want a Union Scramble anyway. So now he's got a full board, and it's still my main phase. So knowing that there's no Dust Tornado here, I could Parasite, and Jinzo is a brick right now. I don't have anything where I contribute for Jinzo right now. We have the Book of Moon. Going to Parasite. And we're looking at the purple monster. We're looking at the fusion, the YZ Tank Dragon. He's going to let that happen. Here comes Cocoon. And there's 1 Moth. No Moth in my hand, so just the 1 Moth. And I will get the shuffle. So we are shuffling. And that's another Parasite. Ugh, kind of a dead draw now. We've already used the entire Cocoon skill, so Parasites are dead. So here's what I do here next. I set the Parasite Paranoid. Because if he were to get another YZ Tank Dragon, he's going to trade a card to the grave to pop something that's useless for me. And if he doesn't attack it at all, then I get a tribute for Jinzo. So I thought that was a pretty good play. I needed to utilize my normal summon. And I just slam over a Z Metal Tank. Let's start clearing some monsters. I got to fight. I got to claw my way through all these unions so I can attack with the Moth. Here's a union combination into, what did we just see? Another YZ? Yep. YZ Tank Dragon. Activate effect. He's going to drop something. Unfortunately, oh, actually, it's a Union Hanger, so that was all right. Trading my Parasite for a Union Hanger that he could have easily played over his Union Hanger to get the effect again. But we're seeing Union Scramble get banished. There's a Y Dragon Head back to the hand, And we're setting something. We have such a heavy row of defense here for this lone Moth to fight, and my skill is burnt. So this is where we're starting to get in trouble here. Because now our resources are limited. We have a Lost Wind, and we have Jinzo. Do we tribute for Jinzo here? Jinzo can beat over everything that's on the field. The only thing it can't beat over is XYZ Dragon Cannon, which he can easily get out. You know, we saw it happen twice. More than twice. At least once per game, I think. So, I'm going to not tribute for Jinzo just yet. Maybe that was where... That might have been a questionable play where we might have to see, is that really the right call there? But I wanted to keep the strong attack here, and I'm just trying to bowl over these Unions. So there's Wide Dragon head out. He's going to do a hard pass with 2 cards in hand. End phase, I'm going to book a Moon, the Wide Dragon head, to get the Z-Metal tank into the grave. I think that was a little, I felt a little rushed. I think that might not have been necessary. Although if I were to try and beat over Wide Dragon, Z-Metal would have died instead. And I have an Allure of Darkness, desperately trying to get more card draw. I have to banish the Jinzo. So right there, I think was not the best play for me, because we saw Jinzo put in a lot of work in order to give us the first victory. And then to greedily try and allure for more cards to then get rid of the Jinzo, I don't know how I feel about that. That might not have been the right call. Like I said, the only reason Moth is out here is it can beat over... Jinzo can beat over anything Moth can, except for XYZ. And if he gets XYZ Dragon Cannon out, he's just going to drop a card to the grave to pop Moth. So I think that we should have tributed for Jinzo here. Obviously, he has no traps set up, so I think that initially in the moment that was kind of my reasoning. Is like, you know, he blew a lot of his traps, you can scramble, that's still going to happen in the graveyard. So I have the Moth out. I had to banish the Jinzo. Set another Book of Moon, and I have a Night Beam. So I have a Night Beam for a trap that comes through. And we're slowly cycling through the monsters, but we are just fueling his graveyard. I mean, he's just going to be able to get more fusions here. There's a back row that's Night Beam target right there. And we have Union Scramble to get a Z-Metal tank back into the hand. And we're setting. All right, so he's giving me some chance. He's giving me a chance to kind of build my resources back up and see what I can do here. Now, I got the Lost Wind, I got the Book of Moon. So Lost Wind would be pretty good against like XYZ. Night Beam that back row, it's a Dust Tornado. All right, that's an equal trade pretty much. And we got a Parasite, which is worthless. So I think that what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set this Parasite as well, because that's going to make him realize, oh, you know what? Actually, it's funny. I didn't even realize that, looking back at this replay. I deliberately did not attack the YZ Tank Dragon. Like, shouldn't I have done that if I had a set monster that I cared about? It's like, just gave it away to him. He's like, what? Why wouldn't you? I'm going to kill that. I'm just trying to trade a card for the card because Parasite's worthless to me. I'd rather see him lose a card from hand if it meant taking out the Parasite, which is worthless. And he's dropping another Union Hanger. So it's not like he's fueling his graveyard with Unions. But, like, wow, what a, like, how obvious is that? Here is a critical play. Spoilers. This is the critical misplay that caused me the game. He just offerings to do my Moth. And I let that happen. So, Offerings to Doom says, target one face-up monster on the field, destroy that target. Also skip your next draw phase. So, Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth is a face-up on the field. And my dumb brain forgot the face-up language in Offerings during this match. And Book of Mooning my Moth would have saved the Moth. And the Moth's defense is 3,000. So, YZ Tank Dragon can't beat over in defense. No problems. I think that I could have successfully swung this game around had I done that, which is great. You know, it's good to see that Dark Moth could potentially stand up against this deck. But I think that this is what causes me the loss of this third game. And I'm sorry to spoil it for you guys. This is meant to be like, it's a match kind of commentary, but it's also supposed to, I'm trying to make it a little more analytical and like identifying where the mistakes are, and as well as the common patterns that you're seeing against XYZ Unions. So that's really unfortunate, letting this play out. We got YZ Tank into attack mode, and we are swinging for game. Now, I got Lost Wind, I got Book of Moon. I choose to Book of Moon. And now I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't try this because I believe this isn't right. But he's gonna if he flip summons this, I don't think Lost Wind works because it was no longer special summoned. It was last flip summoned. I don't know. But I realized my critical mistake right there. Well, it wasn't until right around now. And of course, top deck Sphere Creepo. So just keep me alive for a little bit. Trying for a swing again. Sphere Creepo buys me another turn. Jinzo, that's a brick. This game's over. So, what we got? Set, face down, and we're going for game. And that's it. That's it. So, that's a loss. That's a loss against XYZ Unions using Dark Moth. Although, I'm fairly certain that if I book a Moon there with that offerings, he still skips his next draw phase. Yeah, I think that I would have actually wrapped that one up. So, a couple other learning opportunities on my end is to continue to play through these decks from the box and just seeing the synergy in the speed duel kind of format. It's been something. But I know that this deck's a deck that you guys are either playing or you're playing against a lot. And I hope that you can take something away from this. I hope you learn something. You know, don't be an idiot like me. I hope that you guys take something away from this. So let me know in the comments below if you guys like this type of video. Like I said, this is like a match, but it's not like there's commentary, but it's more like I'm pausing and explaining and like trying to be a little more analytical. And I hope that this just kind of like breaks down some of the complexities. Well, I say complexities, but it's really not that complex. It's complex for Speed Duel, I'd say. But you know, I know that a lot of people pick this game up because it's a little easier than regular Yu-Gi-Oh! And sometimes, you know, you got Union Combination working in tandem with Hanger and Union Scramble, and some people just want a little bit of clarity. So I hope that you guys take something away from this and just kind of gives you a little more insight on how to play against this deck and how to play this deck if you're looking at it from the other side. I don't have anything else to say, but thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later.